Hey everybody, it's Catherine. Hello. And on this beautiful evening, sitting in front of my window, listening to the quiet, also listening to the sound of my fan. It's very hot. I was going over some things in my head, some things from my day, and a class that I taught, a class that I'm going to be teaching, and a conversation I was having with a friend, a very good friend. And we're talking about the changes that are taking place that are like radically dismantling our identity, you know, and this self that we've built up is like a house made of sand, or a house built on sand. It doesn't have any strong foundation because most of our identity is built around our pain. Most of who we think we are, most of this protective persona, this mask, this facade, this self-concept, this identity that we think of as me, it's built around pain. It's built around moments that got punctuated in time because of a very disturbing moment, a really, hi Christine, an upsetting time where we decided to create meaning from that moment, and we forever latched onto it. And so part of us stays forever stuck in that time, and so our identity gets formed around that, forged around that, until it becomes like this fortress of solitude that we enclose ourselves in because we're trying to protect ourselves from feeling more pain. And when we do that, we're never going to be free. And what I'm guiding women through right now in Re-Emergence is a deep dive look at this, and also like how do you dismantle this? How do you allow this house of sand to finally crumble? How do you allow this foundation of you built on sand to finally just crumble and fall away? Is it something you push? Is it something you force? Is it something that you make happen? No, it's not. It's something much more profound than that. And so we have to be able to look at our personality, how it got built up. We don't even need to see exactly how it got built up, but we can see where we're at right now, what we think, what we believe, what we still feel about ourselves. We don't have to go through and relive all the pain that got us here. But I will tell you something, when you start to dismantle this identity, because the identity came in with pain, it goes out with pain. It's like pulling off a Band-Aid. And as I've said many times throughout Re-Emergence, a moment of pain for a lifetime of freedom. That's the trade-off. This way of thinking about yourself, this part of your identity came in with pain, it's going to leave with pain. That's just how it works. But I'm willing to make that concession. I'm willing to peel the layers, and that's what I've been doing over the last year and a half, because I really have made this commitment to myself and to teaching about less is more. Stripping away the veneer, stripping away the things that brick by brick have built up this identity that's built around pain, and we continue to build it so that we don't feel any more pain. But you'll never feel the fullness of life either. As much as you've built a fortress or protective casing around yourself so that you don't feel pain, you're also not feeling the fullness of life. And you're never going to have this sense of satisfaction or fulfillment, true joy or bliss. It really does come with feeling it all, but not being undone by the things that feel difficult or disturbing. And it's a process. It's not a one and done thing. It's something you have to keep committing to moment to moment, because moment to moment, how often do we get irritated? How often do we want to throttle someone? How often does shit happen where it bumps up against our stuff? It bumps up against our shit. And yet again, we're like, fuck my life. What's wrong with me? Why does this always happen to me? And then we start playing the game with ourselves over and over again. When does it end? You know, when do we stop struggling to keep this identity intact. Well, whenever you decide you're done, really, that's what it comes down to. There's no permission slip given by someone or something outside of you that says you're done, even though your guides are telling you all the time, you're done with this theme, you're done with this particular issue, you're done with this challenge in your life. And the only reason, and I know a lot of you who are watching and listening to this, whether now or in the replay, you've had spirit, you've had your spirit team, spirit guides, you've had guidance telling you, you're done with this, there's nowhere else to go here. End of the road, nothing to see here. And the only reason you're going back to this way of being, this issue or whatever, is really out of habit and nothing else. It's a hard pill to swallow, it's a difficult thing to take in, but I invite you to think about that for a second. Who's really gatekeeping your freedom, your joy? There's no puppet master out there holding the puppet strings. There's no mountain in your way other than you. You are the mountain. You're not letting the stream of nourishment that life offers flow through you. It's not meant to be stopped within you, because you stop in a moment in time and an emotional response you're having says, this means something about me. This is who I am. No, that's where you stop the moment and you say, this emotion, this feeling belongs to me now. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the moment. Nothing really belongs to us here. Not even your own identity. If that gives you maybe some sort of permission slip for starting to let it go, well, I hope it does. And, you know, I used to teach something that I don't teach anymore. So I've been slowly dismantling these pieces of my identity, brick by brick, the things that I built up and said, this is me. And I realized that's not me at all. It's a facade. I used it well. It served me well to protect myself from life, but I'm no longer in this place where I'm trying to protect myself from life. I want to feel it all. And I know I'm strong and resilient enough. I have enough love in me that I have a lion's heart. I can feel it all and not be undone by it. And that's taken a minute. And that's what I'm teaching in Re-Emergence. This is what I'm sharing in Women Walking the Phoenix Path. This way to commit to less is more, and then to do it. To actually feel into and know how to, in a real world, tangible, hands-on way, how to do it. How to live this way. Because that's your ticket to emotional freedom, is the peeling away. And here's what I learned. What I used to teach is that, well, when you peel it all away, you peel away the facade, you get rid of all the sheaths and the layers, you have this kind of abyss, you have this kind of void space, and not in a sense where it's negative, but you have the great emptiness. And in a way, when Spirit is saying let it go, it's inviting you to venture into the great emptiness, the great openness. And we, in our ego minds, when we're in that vantage point, we think, well, there's nothing there. That's terrifying. Who will I be without that? The answer is everything. Because everything that you're looking for is beyond this self-concept, beyond this facade, and you have to peel away the layers, because that's what's keeping it from getting through. I don't know how to make it more simple than that. And so I used to teach that, well, then you have to put something in there. If you're going to go through the great emptying, then you have to intentionally, deliberately put something else in, slap a label on, visualize, create affirmations, speak it out loud, what you want to be, what you want to have. But in this process of the great emptying, I've learned something pretty profound. And I'm never going to teach this again. And I'm never going to do it again. This idea of putting something in there in its place, slapping a label on it, saying, I'm going to be this, and sitting on my meditation mat and visualizing, I'm going to look like this, and life is going to look like that, and I'm going to have that, and being intentional and deliberate and all that stuff, is just creating more limits on my experience. It's just creating more limitations on my perception. Because then the mind is just taking the orders that I give it, and so it's going to focus on, oh, she wants to see this, and the mind is incredible at taking the orders you give it. You don't believe me? You should probably work with me. So it's focused, and it's in this myopic fashion It's going to focus on the thing you're telling it to focus on. When you're intentionally or deliberately bringing in a new vision for yourself of how you want to be, how you want to look, how much money you want to make, what you want to be doing in your career, in your relationship, etc., blah, 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 blah. You are creating a kind of way of looking at life through blinders. How do I know what is best for me? I don't. And in the great letting go of letting the ego layers just kind of naturally dismantle, you'll never kill the ego. Don't try to do it. Don't waste your energy that way. Instead, go into that inner witness energy and look out at your life from that vantage point. And you'll see exactly where the sheaths are. You'll see where the layers are. And once you strip them away and you go through the great emptying, what you'll find is that the ego becomes a voice in your head that is not as loud. It's not kicking and screaming and throwing tantrums in the way that it used to. It's in a state of less resistance. And when you do that, something really phenomenal and astounding happens. What you thought you wanted changes. Because now your needs are met. The needs of your soul. Why the soul decided to join up with your body, you're human, and come here and have this experience and be part of this great earth experiment, then it's free. It's free of all the sheaths and layers that you put on top of it where it was stifling and trying to dig itself out so that it could guide you better and show you the things that are more aligned with your soul, maybe things that you had never thought about. And so if we intentionally try to put things in to that void, the abyss space that you experience after this great emptying, this great awakening, the great letting go, if you're deliberate and intentional, you're like, I'm focused on this, you have blinders on for seeing what your soul is wanting to show you, what the universe, what spirit is wanting to show you, saying, actually, this is way better for you. And because we can see all the moving parts of your life, we actually know better than you do. But you're not willing to see it because you think this is for you. And actually what you think is for you in the great emptying is just another echo of that personality you used to be. I know this might be sobering for some of you, but when I figured this out, it made so much sense to me. And, things that come in on an intuitive level, they don't always make a ton of sense. They're not supposed to. Because it's not trying to appeal to your logic. It's not trying to appeal to the rational mind. It's not trying to appeal to your ego. So a lot of times when this stuff comes in, it won't make sense right away. But if you're willing to let go again and trust and say, okay, I'm going to let you guide me. Spirit, universe, soul. I'm going to let you guide me. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to think because you've been around longer than the human me, you probably know what the fuck you're talking about. So I'm going to go with your guidance and see what happens. And what's really astonishing is that a lot of times something way better, something that fits you like a glove, shows up. Because you haven't created any limitation or resistance to receiving it. You don't have blinders on that block your periphery. Soul is poking at you from over here, saying, look, look, look. Or spirit is poking at you from over there, saying, look, look, look. But you can't, because you're like this. So what's really open there? Everything. Sometimes playing out in the most magnificent, unpredictable, yet delightful ways. And I'm always amazed by spirit and the guidance that's there when I just let go and I let it in. I just surrender. I just let go. And you're like, it can't be that simple. It is. It is that simple. But you have to do it over and over again. And it's going to hurt at first because you're dismantling that facade. You're dismantling that idea of you, that self-concept, the model of you that you've created. That's going to be painful because the ego is going to say, wait, we've spent this whole time, decades building up this character so that we could be safe, we could be protected, and you want to get rid of it now? You want to dismantle it now? Are you insane? And the ego is going to try to talk you out of it. the ego is trying to protect you, but sometimes it's a little overactive in how it tries to protect you. So is this making sense? Is this landing for any and all of you that are here? I hope you'll watch this and listen to this again. And for those of you who are saying that you are really on the awakening path, that you are really committed to the process of letting go and letting in all of what's meant for you, it involves this emptying. But you may not want to rush to put something else right in there, because Spirit might have something better in store for you. Often it does. If we trust it and allow it and accept it and acknowledge it and honor it and let it fucking happen, it can be pretty amazing what does happen. And so if you're ready for this level of teaching, that's what Re-Emergence is. If you're ready to not only hear this level of teaching, but then learn how to, in a very real world, hands-on way, apply this stuff in your life, then I have a really amazing thing to offer you, because I have a commitment to making sure, in the way that I can, or at least having a hand in, allowing as many women as possible to have the availability, the capacity to create an impact on this planet if they want to create an impact in their own lives. I don't feel that high value coaching has to be high ticket. I don't believe that impact is available to wealthy women only. I don't know how that ever got so fucked up and askew, but it did. Yes, I charge for my time. Yes, I do make a lot of money on my private coaching so that I can offer things like an income-sensitive payment plan for my most powerful group coaching program, which is Women Walking the Phoenix Path, and it starts on August 16th. And I have an income-sensitive payment plan for it where it's half price, and then there's payment plan options. And this is only good until tomorrow, midnight Eastern time. Because when you want to make impact, when you know that something is right for you, a level of teaching, a mentorship is right for you, it's time to act. It's time to jump on it. And without a deadline, people just drag their feet. People get stuck in the mud. That's just how it is. So that's why this is a quick bump for this income-sensitive plan. There will be an early bird pricing option for Women Walking the Phoenix Path after tomorrow, but it will never be the same price as the income-sensitive plan, and the income-sensitive plan won't return again until I teach Women Walking the Phoenix Path again next year in 2024. So if this speaks to you, now's the time. If what I'm saying really resonates and it's picking up a thread in your heart, and you're like, yes, someone's speaking my language. This is exactly what I've been thinking about. This is what I've been feeling. I want to know more. I crave this. My soul is having it, being lovingly spoken to. Yes, this is for me. This is for me. Then Women Walking the Phoenix Path is your program. And, you know, I don't do Facebook ads. I don't do funnels. I don't do a lot of, I have an email list. I don't do a ton of marketing or whatever. So if you're watching this and you haven't seen me before, please don't think I haven't been around for a while doing this. I've been doing this for over 20 years. Okay? I had a brick and mortar business. I moved my business online in 2009. So I've been at this for a while. I'm really good at what I do. Just because you don't see me plastered everywhere talking about how much money I make every month and all this other stuff, doesn't mean I don't know my shit. I absolutely do. And I love teaching this stuff. I'm passionate. The way I teach is very unique, very different, very dynamic. And it's a body-mind connection because we do sound healing as well. And it's multidimensional. So, with that, have a lovely evening. It's been my pleasure to share this with you. I hope these words resonate well throughout your being. Have a great night.